Hello everybody, how are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. So I want to talk about my experience with college because I know that there are people who are probably stressed out, and if your experience is anything similar to mine, then I know for a fact you've cried yourself asleep a few times. And I want to talk about this because I don't want people out there to feel as if they're behind or as if something's wrong with them. And so I want to give you guys a little backstory on me and my college experience and just everything I went through and where I am now in my life. Okay, so it took me 6 years to graduate. 6 fucking years, and that's okay. I rarely see people graduate in 4 years. If they do, congratulations, but usually people graduate in like 5 years. I knew a few people that graduated in 6 years, but it took me 6 years to graduate. And I want to say that because I want you to take away that expectation of a 4 year expectation. Okay, take that away. Majority of people I knew graduated in 5 years. If like 90% of people that I knew graduated in 5 years. It took me 6 years because I changed my major from kinesiology to food science back to kinesiology, so there were a few credits that I didn't fucking matter. Also, okay, reason why it took me 6 years is because I failed an entire year because I was high out of my mind. That's when I first started smoking, and so I was just really high, and I wouldn't go back and do it differently. I would do it the same way that I did it because it taught me a lot about myself. Like, as you guys know, that was the kickstart to my first spiritual awakening, was smoking. And it taught me, so like, obviously it was just an open door for me to be me. And if I would go back and not do that, then I really do think that I wouldn't be here, right? Before I started smoking, before, any of that, I was really sad and depressed and hated my life, and there was no light at the end of the tunnel. So there's that was incorporated into college. Also, my first year of college, I got diagnosed officially with ADHD. I've known my entire life that I have ADHD, and I know that I'm on the spectrum as well. But my first year of college, that's when it kind of got challenged a lot, because in high school it's a little easier for us to graduate and get good grades, with being neurodivergent. But in college, because you have to be responsible for yourself, right? I remember I took chemistry 3 times, right? I took a math class twice. I took a few classes 3 times, okay? The last 3 years of my college career, schooling, whatever you want to call it, I got straight A's. So that goes to show, though, that from the first 3 fucking years, and the whole year, one of the years that I failed, to a year before that, to a few classes that I failed, to the last 3 years of me graduating with straight A's, how different it was. And it's crazy because I don't even do I don't even fucking work for anybody. I work for myself because COVID started and I became my own boss. So I had ADHD. Well, I have ADHD, but that's when it was officially diagnosed. And I remember, chemistry, I had failed chemistry with the WU, which means it's a withdraw unauthorized. So a withdraw unauthorized is worse on your card, your report card. I forgot what it's called. Report card, yeah, is worse on that, because that means that you totally stopped going to class. It's lower credits, I suppose, like literally none. It's negative credits, I think it is. And my ADHD got really bad, or it was challenged to the point to where I stopped going to chemistry, because I remember I would be sitting in class and I would try to focus, and this happened all, high school, middle school. It was just challenged this time, but I just remember just trying to focus and listen to the words, and it would be like blah, 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 like it was mumbling. So I put the phone down. Don't mind my knee right here, but I remember the mumbling, and then I remember specifically always telling myself to pay attention, and then literally fucking 5 seconds later, 10 seconds later, I would be thinking about something else. And it would happen consistently the entire 2 hours that I was in class. And I would get so frustrated because I couldn't understand anything. I had to actually write a letter to the department. I forgot what it was called, but I had to write a letter my 3rd year of college in order for me to continue my schooling. And that's not to say that I'm not intelligent, because I'm very intelligent. I couldn't learn that way, and my ADHD was challenged immensely, until to the point to where the reason why I graduated with straight A's the last 3 years was because I was on Adderall. I'm very smart, but I couldn't apply this my intelligence towards fucking paying attention in class and test taking. And I'm sharing this all with you guys because I know that there are people there who think college and you know, failing a test is the end of the world, because that's what I felt. I promise you, I felt the exact same thing. And I remember stressing out and crying so much because I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. I had no idea. I didn't even want it. Like, I loved college. I loved college. I loved my college experience because it was an experience. I met people, I partied, I learned about myself. It was a beautiful time for me. But academic wise, I struggled the first 3 years. I remember studying really, really hard from like 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. the last 3 years, every fucking day almost, to get those straight A's. And I love to learn, I do, and it felt really good when I was on Adderall because I could actually fucking pay attention. But, you know, going from that to what I am now, I don't even use my degree. I loved my degree. I have a bachelor's in kinesiology, and I love it with all my heart because I do work out and I lift. If you guys are on my Instagram, you know that. And I love it. I've learned a lot about it, but I wanted to go to school to be a physical therapist. But when I was in college, I remember just walking around and saying, like, I don't want to work for anybody. I don't want to work for anybody. This is not what I want to do. And I didn't know what that meant at all. And nothing makes sense. Because when you go to college, when I went, I was 17. I am 27 now, almost 10 years later. The 17-year-old me is not the same version as the 27-year-old me, or the 17-year-old me is not the version as the 22-year-old me that graduated, 22-year-old me that graduated college. We're not the same person. I had to grow up a lot too, and luckily COVID had started, and that gave me an opportunity to work for myself. And even doing that though, working for myself the first 3 years, I wasn't doing something that I knew was purpose driven, right? I was just doing things to maintain the income and maintain my self-employment because I knew for a fact I wasn't gonna work for anybody. And the last year of college, I actually got a physical therapy assistant, a PTA job. Out of a lot of people, she only hired 2 people, and I knew, and I got the job. But I remember a week before I was supposed to start, I didn't want to do it. It didn't feel right. You know, I was on the right track. My grades were up. I graduated with like a 3.2, 3.3, I think. My grades were up. I was doing things. I had volunteer hours at a hospital. But even then, I didn't want to do it. So I listened to that inner voice. Ended up telling the lady that, you know, I'd give it to somebody else. And that was the best thing I could have done because, you know, COVID started, worked for myself. Spiritual journey after spiritual awakening after spiritual awakening after spiritual awakening. I always had this intuitive knowing that I wanted to do YouTube and help people, and I know that that's going to expand other things, but I had that inner knowing, and so that led to where I am now. So my advice to you is, don't worry, it's just a test. It is just a test. Even if this is something you want to do for the rest of your life, it is just a test. The grades doesn't matter as much as you think it does. I promise you. There are so many people who are wealthy, who don't have a degree. There are so many people who get into their dream college or, you know, get that dream job. Even if it's not the dream college, they get that dream job with C's, right? Because they also know people, you know. It could also be about experience. So even if it's, let's say, you know, you want to get good grades, my friend, it's just you're learning, you're growing. You're gonna fail tests here and there. Like I said, I took a few classes over and over again. I truly did. And the good thing about college, I don't know if this is what they do for you guys, but for me, I had points. I had a certain amount of points that I can use. Let's say if I took chemistry 3 times. The last time I graduated with an A. The 2 first times I graduated with like an F and a D. So the points, maybe there were 3 points each. So that's 6 points. I was able to use that A to totally wipe out that D and that F from my report card or whatever. I fucking forgot what it's called. It's not a report card. Wipe it off from my transcripts. There you go, my transcripts. I was able to wipe it off. So talk to your guidance, counselor, whoever's there, talk to them. Because that's what I was able to do. A lot of my classes that I failed, it didn't show on my transcripts because I was able to use the points to completely wipe it off. And there are so many things you can do in order for you to have that good grade, or for you to graduate with those good grades if that's what you need in order for your career. Have more fun in college. It's literally for the experience. Have more fun. Stop stressing about everything. And I know it's easier said than done because I literally cried myself to sleep many fucking nights, but it's all gonna work out. Okay, if I can just go back to myself and tell her that you're not gonna understand how it's gonna work out, but it is gonna work out. Just have fun and do your best, and don't worry about the things that you failed, or the tests that you failed, because it's all gonna work out and your life is gonna pan out better than you could have ever even imagined for you. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Don't worry about the failures. And remember, failing isn't a bad thing. Society's made us believe that it's such a bad thing. You learn from your failures. You learn from like that exam that you didn't do good in. I learned from those classes that I failed in. I learned that it's not that serious, you know. And have more fun, my friend. But yeah, have more fun and don't worry about it. College is an experience in itself, and you're not the only one going through all of this anxiety and hardships. You're gonna find your way. You are gonna find your way. And it's crazy because all those times where I was stressed out for what? I'm not even using my degree, like I said. I was stressed out because I wanted to go to USC for a physical therapy aid. I'm not physical therapy aid, for physical therapy. And that's why I told y'all I got that PTA job and everything, because I needed the hours and or the experience. And literally right there when I was done, I said, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. So you never know where your journey's gonna take you. You never know where your journey's gonna turn out. It's just a test. It's just a class. I mean, look, I failed a whole year and I ended up passing with the 3.3. I ended up passing with that. You know, I ended up getting the physical therapy assistant job that I didn't take, but they didn't care about my grades. She didn't give a shit about my grades. She cared about my character. She cared about who I was. And if I had that plus my hours at one of the hospitals and I applied to USC because I was calling people up there to see what they need, I would have got in. You got to understand that there's so many other things that they take into accountability in order for you to get in. But even if you're worried about, you don't want to do college anymore, then that's okay. You know what I mean? Everybody's path is different, my friend. I'm going to add on to that last video because the edit kind of disappeared. I want to remind you that if you're stressing over about a test, about a class, remember to tell yourself that it's all going to work out. Life is always working out in your favor, always and consistently. And I wanted to share my story with you to show you that even when I was in the midst of college and crying and stressed out and feeling as if everything was against me, it ended up all working out. And the thing about life, the beautiful thing, is that it's probably going to work out different than you realized. And when it does, it's because it's better than you realized. We as humans, as individuals, can only see with our ego mind the small portion of our life. But the universe, spirit, God, your highest self, if you want to get spiritual, can see, or just life, right? How energy, because everything's energy, that's a fact, can see how everything else is going to work out, because there are many, many possibilities as to how things can happen for you. So remember to tell yourself that when you are hard on yourself because you failed a test, when you're hard on yourself because you failed a class, that it's not the end of the world. Okay, there's always ways to overcome that. Now that I am not in college, I realized that I didn't need to stress out as much as I was stressing out. Also, remember, your intelligence isn't based on that grade. Your intelligence isn't based on whether you pass or not, or how you learn. Your intelligence is not based on that. Your worth is not based on that grade or that job. It is not. And I need you to remove the pressure off of your shoulders that is telling you that you're not good enough, or that you aren't doing enough, or you need to try harder, or that you failed because you're unintelligent, or just giving you anxiety because you didn't pass this test or this class. Remove that, because you're doing enough. You are enough, and it's inevitable. Some people fail tests and classes. That's just what it is. It's not a bad thing, like I said. It just happens. There's a few times that's happened to me, like I said, and I graduated with a 3.3, and it was all good. It was all good. And just to give you guys a little, I guess, a perspective, my ex, he graduated college with all C's. But he ended up getting a job right out of college because of his character and who he was, and his knowledge and just how he presented himself. He ended up getting a job, a supervisor job. It was engineering, and he ended up making, I think, within the first a six-figure year within the first 2-3 years of him working. And he failed all his fucking classes, not failed, but passed his classes with C's, passed them with C's. And so that just goes to prove to you guys that grades, it's not all about grades. Yes, I understand that grades do take into accountability, but it's not all about grades. Things can happen for you better than you could have ever imagined. So yeah, have more fun, okay? Enjoy your youth. Enjoy this experience. You know, college is much more than just classes. It helps you with discipline. It helps you with time management. It helps you with other things to help you with your overall life. So look at those other lessons that it's helping you with. You know, look at how it's helping you grow, how it's helping you really understand how much of a determined, disciplined person you are, because you have to be a very disciplined person to want to go to college. So congratulate yourself for that. Look at all the positive things, all the positive ways that you're expressing yourself through this, right? Because you are very intelligent. And like I said, those grades don't reflect your intelligence, don't reflect your determination, your discipline. It's just a grade. And remember, not all of us learn that way. Not all of us learn that way. Not all of us learn how to take tests the way that we're meant to take tests, or we're supposed to take tests. Not all of us do it that way. So know that maybe sometimes college is against you. Even though you're trying your hardest, the learning curriculum, the way that they learn, can be against you. And you probably have to try a lot harder than other people, especially if you're somebody who has ADHD, if you're neurodivergent, because you don't learn the way everybody else learns. There's different ways of learning too, but I'm just trying to get everything in this video so I can put it into perspective and show you all that it goes deeper than just grades and passing and failing. There's much more to you as an individual, much more to this experience that you're going through, and just know that you're doing amazing. And I'm very, very, very proud of you. And remind yourself, whenever you feel like this, that it's all going to work out. And it is working out, even on the days where you can't see it. Even on the times where you think you failed, it's still working out. Whatever is happening must be happening for a good reason. I believe in you very, very much. And keep trying. Keep trying, and just be gentle with yourself, my friend, because you deserve it. And when time passes by, years later, you're going to look back and say, fuck, I should have chilled a lot more, because that's what I say about myself when I look back in college. I should have had a lot more fun. But yeah, I love you, okay? It's going to work out better than you could ever imagine. It's going to be fine, I promise. I love you, my friend, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.